Welcome, everyone. My name is Pat Ferguson, and I am the practitioner spiritual director here at the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. And we will open with a prayer. I open this service with a prayer, and I open this prayer with what I know to be the most potent words I can speak. Thank you. And from that point, I continue by recognizing that there is only one God, one Father, Mother, Parent, Creator of the one life, known by many names, but still only one. And I know that one life is my life now and the life of all people, all animals, all of nature, all of us here, all out there, all everywhere. We are united as one family, faithfully and lovingly, from this place of knowing. We open our hearts and minds to trust what we know is true of the God within us. Today, tomorrow, eternally. And in this now moment, we acknowledge the passing of Buddhist monk, peace activist, and teacher of love, compassion, and mindfulness, Thich Nhat Hanh. And paraphrasing his words, we recognize he has arrived, he is home, in the here, in the now. He is solid, he is free, and in the ultimate, he dwells. And so it is. Good morning, good morning, good morning again. Welcome to week 4 of 2022. I hope you're still being brave. I am just being brave all over the place. This is also the week we'll be talking about, or actually Reverend Stevens will be talking about the 3rd chapter in the Science of Mind, what it does, and also questioning everything, which is so me. I love that. And as is my custom, I open my morning prayers before service and light this beautiful candle to welcome you so that it's shining bright when you get here to say hello. And welcome you are. No matter what denomination you come from, were brought up in, or even if this is your first faith experience, all are welcome here. And most importantly for you to know right now in this now moment, you are welcome here. We move on to our mission and vision statements. And say these with me if you would. To teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God. And our vision, a world that honors and respects all people. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let's start our day with I Start My Day and Karen Drucker.
That's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. Wanna start my day with love. That's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I choose love, love, love. Love, love, love. I choose it, love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I choose peace, 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 peace. I feel it, peace, 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 peace. I choose peace, 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 peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I choose joy, joy, joy. I feel it, joy, joy, joy. Every day it's joy, joy, joy. I'm choosing joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy, and I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy.
All right. Now we move on to our spiritual reading and meditation, brought to you by your POW, your practitioner of the week, Tammy Seppenfield. And our motto today is I ask new questions and allow the answers to come. Tammy?
Thank you, Pat. Now, there we go. You know, one of the first words I learned in Science of Mind was synchronicity. And I mean, I've known that word all my life, but it took on a rapturous meaning for me. My very first official final thing I had to do in my first class was based on synchronicity. And synchronicity is important today because Pat and I didn't discuss this and we talked, but my reading and my meditation is based on Thich Nhat Hanh. And I was just amazed when she added him to our opening prayer. So anyway, my reading is from this month's Science of Mind, and it is the reading for January 22nd. It's none of my business. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Lao Tzu. Prayer is not an act of overcoming God's reluctance, but should be an active acceptance of his honest willingness. Through prayer, we recognize a spiritual law that has always existed and put ourselves in alignment with it. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. As a new Science of Mind student, I would passionately pray my spiritual mind treatment. Immediately, I would speculate how my prayer was going to be answered. My prayers were usually about money, since I believed that there wasn't enough to go around. I would wait for the mail to show up only to find an empty mailbox. I would check to see if any clients called with potential business, but no one called. When I complained to my practitioner, she reminded me that it was none of my business where or how my good would appear. She said, if you continue to look for it, you haven't developed your faith. There are 3 steps to building faith: hope, trust, and gratitude. Hope is a sense of doubtful expectation. We hope something good will happen to us, but underneath, doubts and fears still linger. Those doubts and fears produce a type of anxiety called waiting. As we release the doubts and fears, we begin to develop trust. We have a deeper conviction in the creative process of life and develop greater patience. The stress of waiting is replaced by patience and a sense of calmness that all is well. Here was the important part for me, not to look for the demonstration of good, but to give thanks that it was already done. Gratitude is the expansiveness of faith. I learned it was none of my business how my prayer would be demonstrated, but I now give thanks that is already received. Lesson learned. Our affirmation, I give thanks that what I desire is already received. And my meditation is a poem that he wrote. I thought I had, Call Me by My True Name. I would also like to say that he was 95 years old. I want to share that with you. So please relax. Release the tension all through your body. And listen to these most beautiful words. Breathe in. Breathe out. Don't force your breath. Just let it happen while you listen. Take my hand. We will walk. We will only walk. We will enjoy our walk without thinking of arriving anywhere. Walk peacefully. Walk happily. Our walk is a peace walk. Our walk is a happiness walk. Then we learn that there is no peace walk, that peace is the walk, that there is no happiness walk, that happiness is the walk. We walk for ourselves. We walk for everyone, always hand in hand. Walk and touch peace every moment. Walk and touch happiness every moment. Each step brings a fresh breeze. Each step makes a flower bloom under our feet. Kiss the earth with your feet. Print on earth your love and happiness. Earth will be safe when we feel in us enough safety. Namaste, and thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. That was great. Now, we're going to talk today about the questions. So let's see what Eddie Watkins Jr. has to say during our special music about the answer.
Here we all are, gathered together in this place. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Spirit reveal. How do we know what's true and what's real? We may not know where life's road will lead, but it doesn't matter long as we believe that God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever the question may be. What's going on in this world today? Oh, where do we fit? And what can we do to make a difference? What can we say? Where do we go? This way or that way? But if we all pray and truly believe, and don't you know we got to love one another so we can let the world see that God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever the question may be. Thank you.
Yes, that's an easy answer to remember. Okay, this morning it's my pleasure to welcome a regular here. You see her face on the screen often, Reverend Dr. Alma Stevens, who resides in Hollywood, Florida. And I want to tell you that she's been retired for the past 4 years, but when I look at all she's been doing, it seems hard for me to say that. Because during that time, she's been a busy, in-demand speaker. She's been a supporter of the Further Aglow Center for Spiritual Awareness. She's published 8 books in her Heal Your Mind and Your Body Will Heal series, and even a prayer book for children ages 8 to 80. So I know those are all available if you're interested on Amazon or from Reverend Alma. So it's worth looking into. Oh, and she has a daughter named Patricia Ann, and I think that's such a nice name. Welcome, Reverend Alma. It's a pleasure to have you. You're on mute. Vernon, do you need to do anything?
It's all on her end.
Okay. There must be a button somewhere there on the bottom. There you go.
Thank you, Matthew. Yes, thank you. Greetings to all. It is an honor to share one of my favorite subjects. And that is what it does from the introduction of our textbook. It has been customary for as long as I can remember for ministers to share the introduction of the textbook the first Sunday in January, the first month in the new year. I was fortunate enough to be taught by Dr. Holmes's students, 4 as a matter of fact. And we were told that Dr. Holmes said that if we understood the introduction, we would not need to read the textbook. For everything we need to know is in the introduction. This morning, we share what it does. Because on the first month, the first Sunday, the topic was the thing itself. And he said the thing itself was so stupendous, so magnificent. He simply called it the thing. Our topic, living everyday wonder. Living everyday wonder. If you would tune in to any of the CSL community this morning, you would find many ministers using that topic. And wonder is defined as astonishment, one at one met, which we've called miracles, surprises, awesomes, and the like. When we are at one with our feelings, images, and thoughts, then we are living every day wonder. I've looked forward for many years in sharing this topic, for it broadens my understanding of the use of universal law. Our theme, what it does, is, in my opinion, the key to understanding the thing itself. Our sharing will address how the thing works in relation to the human being. It is my understanding that the science of mind is a study of the human being and how to use universal law to realize our magnificence through our feelings, our images, and our thoughts. I have made life so convoluted because I thought there was something else that I needed to do, I needed to hear. And when I understood part of the first page of the introduction, page 25, freedom is the birthright of every living being. I am still sitting in that statement, freedom. Freedom from what? And I've concluded freedom from my images, my feelings, and my thoughts. For that was the tool that was given to the human being to navigate this life. Science of mind teaches how to think, not what to think. And when we use the universal principles or the law within our thinking, which is love, then we are living everyday wonder. Acknowledging our feelings, images, and thoughts draws the light from our soul. Emerson advises us to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. And for many, many years, I pondered that statement. I asked questions that I didn't get an answer. And then one day, it came to me, if I would get my ideas, my opinions, my previous knowledge out of the way, and just allow the Spirit to speak through me, then I would be living in everyday wonder. Our sharing will address how the thing works in relation to the human being. For we realize our magnificence through the human being. The wonder of the thing itself is that it is impersonal and it works for everyone, regardless of conscious recognition. When our intent is focused in love, right action takes place. The wonder of everyday living is that it is a universal law that works through love. We have many times interchanged law and principle, and I concluded that the principle is how we get to the law. The law is, and the principle is the way. That is when we infuse love in our thought, our feeling, our action, and our thoughts, then we move into law, the law of the human being, and right action does take place. Our first concept is asking questions. I was raised during a time period of consciousness, of universal consciousness, when children must be heard, seen, and not heard. So for many, many years, I did not ask questions. I simply took what everyone said the way that I understood it. I did not know that I had to develop that faculty for asking questions. And we do that by observing our surroundings. Since we know that everything is possible, this curiosity sparks creativity and our willingness to ask questions and expand our world. It is noted that adults ask an average of 20 questions a day, and most of them are close-ended. What do you want for dinner? What time is the meeting? Where are you going? Do you want to see a movie tonight? To reignite the curiosity we were born with, we can ask more questions more often. And I started with, what makes the sky blue? All over the world, we see a blue sky. Have you ever asked why most clouds are white and not orange? I began to go through questions as such. I talked to the trees, the earth, the flowers, the plants. No, many times I didn't get answers, but I made the effort, developing the spontaneous actions of my creative principle within me. If you have not asked why the sky is blue all over the world, or why clouds are white and not orange, that's a place to begin, tapping into the wonder of everyday living. By asking questions, we can see a bigger picture and challenge our limiting beliefs. By asking questions, we start to see and do things differently now that we are living in the new world, in a new energy. And the new world is the world of love, where every heart of every human being on earth is and has been infused with love, with pure love. By asking questions, we learn new ways of doing things the old way. In this new world, in this new energy since 2020, I've noticed I have a different appetite. I'm trying things, I'm eating foods that I never even considered eating before. And I've dropped some that I was eating before 2020. The mystics of today say that everything must change. Everything is in change, and we must change with it. We must change the words we use, the places we go, the things that we have done. And I help myself by being conscious of how I did something in 2019 and just doing it differently. I've become more mindful of what I do. When I walk, I am mindful of the steps that I take. I stay in the moment. By asking questions, we can see a bigger picture and challenge our limiting beliefs. Our second concept is spiritual discernment. We often ask questions and seek answers externally outside of ourselves. But there's that infinite intelligence within us that's always available to us. And we simply need to just simply turn and ask, what must I do? The spiritual practice of visioning and meditation regularly brings us into close contact with the indwelling presence, that perfect human being that allows for direct revelation. Spiritual discernment helps clarify the what is mine to do today. What is my next step? What direction do I take? And in Tammy's meditation this morning, she opened it by saying, it is not my business. What is my business? And I have asked that question for some time, and it came as simply, is this useful to me? That was more gentle with my spirit. When a thought comes, a feeling comes, a question comes, I ask, is this useful to me? You see, our divinity is in our darkness. Our divinity is in our darkness. That simply means that each time we approach an image, a feeling, a thought, we draw out of our old beliefs the light that's there, and we are led to what is useful to us. We might not have the answer to the question right then, but there is that which is within us, the I am, the perfect human being that knows, and we simply turn to it to live in everyday wonder. Rather than try to find a solution with our own limited belief or resources, spiritual discernment allows the human spirit to provide an answer. Why not turn to it? And our key for spiritual discernment is regular practice, regular daily practice. That strengthens our ability to hear the still small voice, to trust its guidance. And each time we trust its guidance, each time we trust what comes through us, the closer we come to knowing who we are. Our mind is one with the mind of God that knows the highest and the best. Why wouldn't we turn to it for guidance? Our third and last concept is living in the question. Living in the question. Many times we ask a question and we're simply in the next moment, we are off into some other thought. But if we simply just bring our mind back to the question, what makes the sky blue? When I asked that question, I began to change that part of my mind. It was some days before I understood, or the answer came to me, that the sky is blue all over the world because the will of God has to come to us. And it made sense to me. Live in the question. Be willing to stay in the question until it opens up more expansive opportunities, creative ideas, and inspired solution. Albert Einstein wrote, I have no special talent. I'm only passionately curious. Many times we move from our curiosity, from our childhood, because it has been stifle. Children are seen and not heard. So it is up to us to develop that part, to bring forth that part, so that we can live in the oneness, live in the wonder of each day. Jacqueline Winespear wrote, "A willingness to stay in the question opens up us to more expansive opportunities, a wider range of views, and an enthusiastic actions." I ask, what are you curious about? Ask questions. Question, question, question. Make a sacred inquiry and listen. Live in the question and allow life to live the answer through you. Live in the Science of Mind, page 109, and I read, Science of Mind is an inquiry into the relationship between God and the individual. And so far as we establish a right relationship, we shall have a corresponding power. End of quote. Truth walks towards us on the paths of our questions. As soon as we think we have the answer, we have closed the gap and may miss the new information. Wait, stay with the question in the silence, in the stillness, and do not rush to conclusion, no matter how uncomfortable. I question the question. I question the answer. I ask how, what, when. Developing the faculty of curiosity. When we are inquisitive, life becomes an endless opportunity to learn and grow. Living in the question makes us available for spirit. It creates a space in which the infinite intelligence can be heard, a space that is sure to be filled with wonder and awe. In closing, asking a question signals to life that we are ready to live the answer, and then life lives it through us at the appropriate time. Spiritual discernment is the willingness to accept feeling, images, and thoughts that come for acceptance of light, of the light it brings. And lastly, living in the question brings the energy of oneness and awe. Let us pray. Give thanks for each individual message. Give thanks for each one who showed up to create this consciousness, to receive the answers to our questions, to live in everyday wonder. And as we go out into the marketplace this week, the power, the essence of the words that we have spoken, the words that we have embodied, radiate out through us, healing our world and the world around us. And until we meet again, divine presence goes before you, making your way perfectly clear. All is well, so be it. And so it is.
Oh, it is. Good. Now is the time for our prosperity affirmation. All you send to us and share with us is much appreciated and helps us to continue our journey within the Louisville Center. I will say the affirmation, and then after that is done, if you all will repeat it with me, But I want to remind you, if you go to the chat, you'll see the different places you can donate and the address involved. And now the affirmation for today is abundance is the natural state of the universe. And if you all will share with me, abundance is the natural state of the universe. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is. And Pat, if you'll bless our offering.
Yes, indeed. One God, one life, one supply. Thank you for being the light from within that halos our talents, time and treasures, and causes us to understand that the flow of all three from us is the same flow that circles back to us multiplied. We are grateful to be blessed in such ways, both as a center and individually. I bless the gift and the giver. I offer these words to a law that only says yes, and I release them there to become evident. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Pat. And now our announcements for today. Our guest speaker next week is our own Vicki Jeter, speaking on the 4th chapter in the Science of Mind, How to Use It. Be there, don't miss it. And another wonderful thing is that the first Wednesday, we're going to start again with our spiritual connection. And it will resume with practitioner ministerial student Vicki Jeter on February the 2nd. And the time is 8 p.m.
No, I think it's
7.
I think it's 7. I believe it's 7.
Okay, Pat, are you going to describe a new opportunity for a book study?
Yes, I am. One of the things that I have been conjuring up, dreaming up for a long time is to get our community involved with other CSL centers to make more classes and more book studies available. Since we're a small group, that's a lovely and intimate thing, but it also means that it puts a lot of pressure on the same people to teach the classes. And by reaching out to other centers, we can learn more and do more. And the first one that I have chosen as your new spiritual director comes to you from Creative Life in Spring, Texas, and Reverend Jesse Jennings, who I know you're all familiar with. And on March 7th, he begins a 4-week class on Monday evenings, and it's a book study, actually, The Sacred and the Profane. And I thought this would be a great one to start because we know Jesse from the Science of Mind. He is part of our foundation because he's where Vicki came from. He's where Carolyn came from, and he's just in our bones. So it's fairly low cost because if you get there before February 21st, it's only $110. And then you buy the book at Amazon. So I'm telling you that I will be there. And if you would also like to be there and join us, and I've already told Reverend Jesse that to look for me and others. So we will do this together, and it will be one of I hope, several that we can offer to you through the year.
Pat, can you tell us what time it is?
Oh, yes. It's in the evening. I believe it is at 8 Eastern time because I believe it is at 6 Central time. And I'm sorry I didn't put that on there, but I will look that up and be sure before it's there. But it is an evening.
Okay, and thank you very much. Okay, so sounds good.
Next one.
And our announcements are over with, except for the most important part. You are magnificent. Believe it. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Now, an oldie but a goodie is coming up for our closing song. And there's going to be a lot of words coming at you. And if you're on a small device, you might not be able to read them. But if you can see them, sing along there and just enjoy this and let it carry you into the week.
I am letting go of fear, it's no longer welcome here. And the shackles that once bound me now are gone. I am free to live each day as God's love shows me the way. Yes, the love of God is with me wherever I go. Wherever I go, wherever I go. The love of God is with me wherever I go. Yes, the sun is always shining and the river always flows. And the love of God is with me wherever I go. I am tearing down the walls that keep me from seeing all of the goodness that I know we each possess. Now my cup is spilling out, only goodness, no more doubt. Yes, the good of God is with me wherever I go. Wherever I go, wherever I go. The good of God is with me wherever I go. Yes, the sun is always shining and the river always flows. And the good of God is with me wherever I go. I am joyful all the while, and I show it with my smile that completely stretches down from ear to ear. Yes, my joy of God's complete as I share with those I need. All the joy of God that's with me wherever I go. Wherever I go, wherever I go. Oh, the joy of God is with me wherever I go. And the sun is always shining and the river always flows. And the joy of God is with me wherever I go. And the love of God is with me wherever I go.
Oh, that was an oldie but a goodie. Oh. All right. Ending the service as we began. Thank you. Going into the coming week, we are so grateful for each other and for this philosophy, and knowing that God is within us and there is no separation, not now, nor ever will be. And on that gratitude, I lift our joyful words into a law that takes them automatically and impartially and says yes. And there I release them. And so it is.